Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn Quotology. Today, a quote by Pliny about the Colossus of Rhodes. We already did it, and now in this video we want to present it. We want to record in a separate video that quote and also tell a bit about the story. The quote is, "Few men can clasp a thumb in their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues. Where the limbs are broken asunder, vast caverns are seen yawning in the interior." Now, can I say that? Few men can clasp a thumb in their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues. Where the limbs are broken asunder, vast caverns are yawning in the vast caverns are seen yawning in the interior. Vast caverns are seen yawning in the interior. Okay, I want to say that, and maybe I can do it. And when we're going to say that was said by, I'm going to say that at the beginning, and then we're going to say, and that was said by the Roman historian Pliny in the 1st century about the broken pieces which he saw in the harbor of Rhodes, in the harbor of Rhodes, which were there from the statue of the Colossus of Rhodes, which was built there 300 years earlier. To be added to it, earlier, the statue had been built as a commemoration of a war between the Rhodes people and the Macedonians, where then the Egyptian king Ptolemy had come to help. And there's so much we want to say about this. It is not about a statue, it is about a quote. So just that there's a statue, and it was built as a commemoration of a war between, it's just that, a war between the Rhodes people and the Macedonians. And it was 30 meters high and had a weight of 300 tons. But just 56 years after its erection, in the year 280, it fell down in an earthquake. And when Pliny, and when Pliny saw it, then 300 years later, all these pieces in the harbor of Rhodes, he wrote about them, he described them, as with the following words: "Few men can clasp the thumb with their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues." Few men can clasp the thumb in their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues. Where the broken limbs lie asunder, vast caverns are yawning in the interior. Okay, we're going to start now with the leg injury prevention training. And we will, while we're doing that, continue to learn that quote. Because we're still really able to say, few men can clasp the thumb with their arms. With their arms. Just with their arms. I have always something like around. Few men can clasp the thumb with their arms. Just few men can clasp the thumb with their arms. The first exercise, if you participate in that, is at your own risk. We are doing the greeting with just the muscle, bringing the leg up and pointing the foot down. Few men can clasp the thumb with their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues. Where the broken pieces lie asunder, vast caverns are yawning in the interior. We have changed the leg. And now to the first exercise, I can read in the book. And we're swinging one leg in front and to the side. Now, what would be interesting? The harbor of Rhodes, the main town on the Aegean island of the same name, was the site of a huge monument known as the Colossus in the 3rd century before Christ. So Rhodes is an island. I more or less stumbled across it. Rhodes has today a population of 120,000 people. So Rhodes is an island, and that Rhodes Island is in the Aegean Sea, that is on the eastern part of the Mediterranean Sea. And Rhodes is the town on the island Rhodes. So we are next leg, we have the foot in front and back. Now it has not so much to do with the quote. Okay, now there's Mediterranean Sea, and on the eastern part there's Greek. And Greek has on one side the the Ionian Sea, and on the other side what's it here now? Of the Aegean Sea. There's the Ionian Sea, and on the eastern side there is the Aegean Sea. And in this Aegean Sea, the changing lake, there are many islands. And one of these islands is the island Rhodes. And on that island Rhodes, there's a town, and it has the same name as the city, as the island. The town has the name Rhodes. And in the town Rhodes, there's a harbor, and in the harbor there was that statue, about which Pliny said, first the next exercise, we bring one leg up into a right angle with a flexed foot, we have even line tips, and we're breathing in, and out of the side, the pine pilcrow exercise, breathing in. And Pliny said about this statue, and again out and again out, which was built as a commemoration of a war between the Macedonians against the people of Rhodes, whom then the Egyptian king Ptolemy, again, helped, and about that said Pliny, the Roman historian, leg up, breathe in. Human can clasp a thumb around the arms, breathe out. Human can clasp a thumb with their arms, and out and down. And the fingers are as large as statues. There are always these two things. Breathing in, and out, back, and down. Human can clasp the thumb with their arms, and the fingers are as large as statues. Where the broken pieces, where the broken limbs lie asunder, vast caverns are yawning in the interior. Human can clasp the thumb in their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues, just larger than most statues, no more explanation. And just clasp with their arms, not something else, just with their arms. Human can clasp the thumb with their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues. They have broken pieces, they have broken limbs. Where the limbs are broken. Where the limbs are broken asunder, vast caverns are yawning in the interior. Next exercise, we're bringing one leg up into a right angle, and we're pressing from the top against the knee. Have a little bend in the elbow. Now we're pressing on the inside. Right angle with the leg, flexed foot, even line tips toward the back, little bend in the elbow. And now the knee presses up and to the side, up, to the side. And the other leg. The leg up, and we're pressing from the top against the knee. The right angle with the leg, flexed foot, even line tips toward the back, and the hand press on top. Few men can clasp the thumb with their arms. And the fingers are larger than statues. The fingers are larger than statues. The limbs are broken asunder. Vast caverns are yawning in the interior. And the knee presses up into a side. Human can clasp the thumb with their arms. And the fingers are larger than most statues. And the fingers are larger than most statues. Where the broken limbs lie asunder. Where the limbs are broken asunder. Where the limbs are broken asunder. And we're done with the exercise. We're doing a little stretching, and we're doing this exercise just with the heel onto the ground and pull the toes up. The elbow with the heel onto the ground and pull the toes up. And bringing the leg up and putting the foot down. And returning the foot, the greeting mushroom, to the other direction. And the other leg up, turning the foot into one direction and into the other direction. And that was the leg expansion training. Now, if I'm not able to say a quote, we can do our video. I wanted to say it twice. Few men can clasp the thumb with their arms. And the fingers are larger than most statues. Where the limbs are broken asunder. It would be helpful if I would know the words asunder and interior. Where the limbs are broken asunder, vast caverns are yawning in the interior. Let's try it. I have a sync camera, which I'm going to start now. And now I try to say, let's try. And I'm going to say, what is that even? If I name it as a suit, Wonders of the World, Lionel Gregson, followed by Cliff Michael Moore. According to Wonders of the World by Lionel Gregson, and by Lionel Gregson, just Lionel Gregson. By Lionel Gregson. Lionel Gregson, I have to remember something else. According to World of Wonders. Wonders of the World by Lionel Gregson. According to Wonders of the World by Lionel Gregson, page 14 and 50. Let's try it. It was Pliny. Few men can clasp the thumb with their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues. The broken limbs are lying asunder. Where the limbs are broken asunder. Few men can clasp the thumb with their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues. Where the broken limbs are lying asunder. Where the limbs are lying asunder. Where the limbs are broken asunder. Few men can clasp the thumb with their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues. Where the limbs are broken asunder, vast caverns are yawning in the interior. That is what the Roman historian Pliny said in the 1st century about the pieces which he found of a Colossus of Rhodes on the island Rhodes, that had been built 300 years earlier as a commemoration of a war of the Rhodes people against the Macedonians. The statue was 30 meters high and weighed 300 tons. And Pliny said that when he saw these broken pieces, over 56 years after the statue had been erected in 280 before Christ, had fallen down during an earthquake, he said then about them, few men can clasp a thumb with their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues. Where the limbs are broken asunder. Where the limbs are broken asunder. I have time for one more take. Otherwise we're going to need another take for the crowd. Few men can clasp the thumb with their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues. Where the limbs are broken asunder, vast caverns are yawning in the interior. That is what the Roman historian Pliny said in the 1st century about the broken pieces which he found of the Colossus of Rhodes on the island Rhodes in the Aegean Sea. That Colossus had been built 300 years earlier as a commemoration of a war between the Rhodes people and the attacking Macedonians. And then 56 years after it had been erected, that 32 meters high, 300 tons heavy statue, it had broken down in an earthquake. And now Pliny, the Roman historian, said then about them, few men can clasp the thumb with their arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues. Where the limbs are broken asunder, vast caverns are yawning in the interior. And that is according to the Wonder of the World by Lionel Gregson, page 14 and 15. Now if I said Lionel Gregson, one word is no. Gregson. Gregson. I think because Lionel Messi. Lionel Gregson, Wonders of the World. We hadn't really learned that part. We're going to do it the next time properly. Or we're going to make an asterisk into this video. Now, let's spend 10 seconds on learning that name here. Wonders of the World, Lionel Gregson. Gregson. Lionel Gregson, Wonders of the World. But we're only in 10 seconds. Okay, that was the quote. That was the last part, probably to that quote. We have a nice video. And I thank you very much. And the next time we'll be having another quote.